This NAN automation reads any document or image and instantly extracts the key data. No more manual OCR, no more data entry. It eliminates 90% of the time you'd normally spend processing documents. In this demo, I'll show you two high-impact automations. One that pulls names and birth dates from ID documents, and another that processes invoices automatically. I spent the last 3 years building over 200 automations, helping dozens of businesses streamline operations and unlock new revenue from my AI automation company. Want this in your business? I've linked the automation template below, and if you want help building custom automations, just click the link. Let's dive in. Let's do a quick demo. We start by submitting an ID through a form, and we expect the system to automatically extract the name and date of birth. These will then be autofilled into Google Sheets or your CRM of choice. As you can see on the right side, I have the actual ID so that we verify the results when it's done. Let's go ahead and test the workflow. I'll enter the name, Connor, and upload the driving license. The upload is complete, and now you can see, just like that, the system extracted the name, S. Connor, and the date of birth, 1966. Perfect. Let's try another example. This time, we'll use a different ID. I enter the name Karen and upload the ID. Now, we expect to see the name, Karen Elizabeth, and birth year, 1966. And here it is, accurately extracted, Karen Elizabeth and the correct birth year. So we can confirm the workflow is fully functional and working exactly as intended. Now, for our second automation, extracting data from invoices using OCR, we'll be capturing vendor name, invoice number, date, due date, and total amount. All this data will automatically populate a Google Sheet or your CRM. We're going to test the system with multiple invoices so you can see how well it works. Let's start by uploading invoice 1. We expect it to capture the vendor, year name, amount, invoice number, and both dates. And here's the result. The system extracted everything correctly. July 13th, 2021 is the invoice date, February 13th as the due date, and total amount $8,480. Let's try another. Invoice 2. This one's from Constantino's Constructions. As you can see on the screen, we got the correct vendor name, the invoice number, the date, the 6th of October 2020. This invoice didn't have a due date, so it skipped that field. And finally, the amount, which is $960. Perfect extraction. Let's test the third one. Oops, I forgot to upload, so the automation didn't run. Let's do it again. Invoice 3. Here we go. The vendor name is James Sharp Photography. Correct invoice number, correct date, and the amount, $2,200. Right, so let me walk you through exactly how I set this up step by step. We start with the built-in form, but this can be replaced with anything. For the client I worked with, they used a Go high-level WhatsApp bot. When someone chats with the bot and uploads their ID or verification document, it triggers this automation. Once the document is uploaded, you can choose to push the data into Google Sheets, a CRM, or any platform that suits your use case. The setup starts with a simple form asking the user to input their name and upload a document. We're specifically using PDF files because they're easier to analyze and more consistent for OCR processing. Before moving forward, you'll need to set up Mistral OCR. That involves creating an account, generating an API key, and connecting it. You should also review the documentation from Mistral AI, which walks you through OCR for both PDFs and images. Here's what happens next. Once a document is uploaded, we trigger a HTTP post request to Mistral with the file. You'll need to insert your API key here. The body content is sent as form data, including the uploaded document as a binary file. Next, we have a HTTP GET request node to retrieve the file's signed URL. This is the URL of the file we just uploaded. Again, authentication is required. I'm using header-based credentials saved as generic credentials to avoid repeating this step. When you test this step, it should return a URL. We get this structure from Mistral's documentation. You just copy the call format and paste it into your request. Then we send a second HTTP post request, this time to initiate the OCR processing. We include the document type and the document URL in the body, formatted as JSON. Again, you'll need to authenticate and include your API key. After that, we receive the OCR results. Now that we have the raw OCR data, typically in JSON, we use an information extractor powered by OpenAI. You add this as a node in your workflow. We pull the raw text from the OCR output and set up our prompt. For example, I instructed the extractor to return a string value for a name, typically found in the second row of a US driver's license. The same goes for the date of birth. You can also customize this prompt to extract other data like class type, A, B, C, gender, M or F, or address, whatever your document contains. Once the extractor pulls the values, we log them in Google Sheets. I map the name and date of birth fields here, but this could easily be Airtable, Monday.com, or any other CRM platform. You can even add a conditional checker, say if the document is in a PDF, the user is prompted to re-upload, or if OCR extraction fails, the workflow pauses and requests new input. This setup significantly reduces manual effort and improves accuracy in document processing. Now, let's break down the invoice automation workflow in detail. We begin with a form input inside N8N. This trigger can be anything: an email, a CRM webhook, or a document upload form. For universal compatibility, I've used a basic form here in N8N that asks the user to upload a document. We set the file input type to file, and we recommend using PDFs since they're easier for OCR to process and yield better data extraction. Once the PDF is uploaded, the first step is an HTTP post request. Here we authenticate using Mistral AI credentials API key, which you generate from your account. The setting here and in the next HTTP nodes can be done by copy-pasting the curl code. This HTTP request sends the form data, including the binary file. Next is another HTTP node, a GET request to retrieve the signed URL for the uploaded file. You map the document here, replacing the placeholder with the actual ID from the upload step. You can find the correct structure in Mistral's documentation. Just copy and paste it, update the dynamic fields, and test it. The following node is another post request where we send the document URL and type to Mistral to perform OCR. Again, use your API key and JSON format for the request body. Once OCR is completed, we receive structured data, usually a large JSON object containing all the detected text. We pass this to an information extractor powered by OpenAI. This is where we define exactly what we want: vendor name, invoice number, invoice date, due date, and total amount. These are typically strings, and invoice numbers can be alphanumeric, so we define that in the extractor's configuration. You can use ChatGPT to help you generate accurate field descriptions if needed. For example, you can write a prompt to extract the vendor name from an invoice. It's the full name of the company or person who issued the invoice. You can do the same for any field, dates, amounts, or custom fields. Also, you can make fields required. That way, if a value is missing, the workflow can pause, throw an error, or alert the user for manual review. This ensures only complete and accurate data is processed. Finally, we log everything into Google Sheets. This output can also be changed to a CRM, WhatsApp, Xero, or Go high-level automation depending on your use case. These two automations turn hours of manual work into seconds of smart processing. From verifying IDs to logging invoices, these workflows don't just save time, they create consistency, reduce errors, and free your team to focus on higher value tasks. If you're running a business where documents come in daily, you need this. This is just the starting point. You can connect it to your CRM, send auto replies on WhatsApp or email, organize files in Drive, trigger alerts in Slack, or sync data to Airtable, finance tools, any tool you use. All of that completely possible. Ready to implement this in your business? I've helped over a dozen businesses automate their workflows, saving time, reducing errors, and generate more revenue. Let's do the same for you. Check the link below to get started and grab the free automation template while you're at it. Your system should work for you, not the other way around.